Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I will be interviewing Cynthia Levin, a very funny stand-up comedian based in Los Angeles. She's also a comedy class teacher, and she actually friended me on Facebook a couple months ago, and I was very honored because I've heard her name a lot over the past couple of years on the Comedy Store podcast and what have you. And so I'm going to interview her today and find out a little bit more about the Hollywood scoop of stand-up comedy. So, yeah, here is my interview with Cynthia Levin. Hi, Cynthia. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great, Tommy. How are you?
Oh, I am just awesome. Long before you had sent me a friend request, I had heard your name many times on the Comedy Store podcast, so I felt
Yeah,
honored to receive a friend request from you, and I thank you so much.
absolutely. I didn't realize I did that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. I'm just kidding. How are you? I'm kidding.
But yes, I am great.
Good.
Um, so, did you always know growing up that you were funny?
Uh, I think, when did I figure it out? I think, well, I was always causing trouble and getting attention that way. And then I got my first laugh from my family, which was, of course, that's when you get the real validation.
Yeah.
Friends don't matter. It was when I was imitating a waitress at some country diner when we were camping. She goes, how'd you like some French fries? And I was probably about, I don't know, I don't even know, 8 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I just repeated it, of course, right back to her face. How'd you like some French fries? That was coming out of my little head. And then they laughed for the first time. Like, they never noticed me before that. And I have 5 brothers and sisters and, 2 parents. It was like the first time I existed. So there was that. Actually, I think I existed once before at a piano recital when I had nothing to play. There was a whole bunch of people watching me, and I just got up there in my dress and then looked at the audience and went, oh, shit, And then that was my other laugh. So it started around then.
Yeah,
that's my story. All right, take care. I'm just kidding. All right.
Yeah, that's...
Good night.
Yeah, that's how I started. I used to perform. I used to perform for the family after dinner. I'd imitate my favorite comedians, do my imaginary Saturday Night Live sketches and stuff like that. So I can relate.
Great. How old were you when you were doing that?
Oh, it started about 3 years old.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, very early. So did you watch stand-up comedy when you were growing up?
No, I didn't really. I used to listen to I'm old, dude. I used to listen to Flip Wilson records over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who Flip Wilson is?
Oh yeah, Geraldine.
Oh, yes, exactly. So that's what I used to listen to that, and where it started. And then in the car with my family, we would listen to Bob Newhart because we did a lot of camping. So we were driving across the country,
Mm-hmm.
and so we used to listen to Button Down Bob. His album, which was amazing. Like it used to be on this radio show.
Right.
They used to play him, and so things like that. And I think those things definitely struck me growing up. But I didn't really know about stand-up until like I was in college, and or maybe I was a teenager, and I went and saw Elaine Boozler. Somebody just gave me the tickets for my birthday.
Nice.
And I was laughing so hard, and I have like a laugh, when I laugh really hard.
Yeah.
And she kept talking to me while I was in the audience because of my laugh, and then she thanked me as I was walking out. And then that just kept happening when I'd go to comedy shows. Ever before I was doing stand-up, I was like a great audience member. I kept winning things and getting thrown things from the comedian and getting thanked by the comic. And then another time in college, I got brought up on stage. And then I got good laughs. Just they were asking me questions, and totally never thought about doing stand-up any of those times either, though. Yeah. But it wasn't until, I mean, you know how there's endless stories actually of various people kind of getting you there.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So yeah, I dated a guy, and he said you should take this class, and I said great. I just thought it was an acting class, and he said he would pay for part of it, right? And I was like, that's awesome, and because he was rich, and then I took the class, and it turned out it was a stand-up class. So it was like a happy accident, you know.
Yeah.
That was like at that time I felt like I found my soul, like literally, and so that's why I always say like stand-up is like my soul.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things.
But overall, though, who would you say are your comedy influences?
Um, I I'd say Louis Anderson was an influence.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say Sandra Bernhard.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because I think she's like hilarious, but I think she was a badass. She is a badass.
Yeah.
Fearless. Richard Pryor, definitely. You know, and Lenny Bruce is probably my biggest. I used to read books about him before I even ever heard a word he ever said.
Yeah.
There was something about him that I really connected to, and so I used to read all these books about him. And then that's before I ever even considered doing stand-up, actually, or maybe I had just started or something. Yeah, I must have just started. And then I listened to his records, and I was like, I have no idea what he's talking about. Because I was like 22, you know, or 23.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, what is he talking about? But then, you know, then I started, you know, then you can, when you watch him, though, of course you get it. But just listening to some of his records, he goes in and out of characters, and he's talking about, you know, I was like having trouble following. It was really funny. But I think it's soul thing. I think it's like his, you know, who he is what I really connected to, and his why, like the why he's doing what he was doing. And I think that's probably the way I connect to him the most. You know, the comic I connect to the most.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was influenced by the really dark, edgy rock and roll comics like Sam Kinison and Andrew Dice Clay and Bobcat Goldthwait. Those were like my guys when I was growing up.
Yeah, I get it. It's great. You know, and they were kind of playing characters like alter egos. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I'm trying to bring character comedy back with my persona that I've been developing on this show lately and stuff.
Yeah.
And
How does your character see the world?
he's stuck in the 80s. He's a fanboy who's stuck in the 80s, basically. Yeah, and I'm taking like pop culture jokes that I've been saying for years and bringing it to this persona and just developing it, basically.
So he's like a nerd.
Yes.
He's like an entertainment biz nerd. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's also kind of a satire on YouTube celebrities in a way. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I think like I have no connection with like pop culture. Like I don't, you know, people will say all these people's names, and I'm dead faced. I have no idea what they're talking about. Not that I don't watch the news, but pop culture and the news I think are separate. So.
Yeah. that is true.
Yeah. So, I'm like, I have no idea. But anyway, but that's great. So we need people like you is my point, because there's a lot of people who do know about pop culture.
Yeah, I just think now with like the alternative comedy scene and everything, everyone who's like starting or coming up is starting to sound derivative of each other. So I like to give the audience something different, you know.
Yeah. You do? Who do you think sounds like somebody else? Like, what do you mean?
Like a lot of the younger guys, like in my age group, guys like Tony Hinchcliffe or Tom Segura or something like that. I don't know. To me, they're just all starting to sound like each other, and so like I want to like back away from that and like do my own thing, you know.
Yeah. How long ago did you start?
2006.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So
Very good. Yeah, I started like 75 years ago, and so far no good. No.
What year did you start and where?
I started in LA. I started in 1989. 89. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I took a Judy Carter stand-up class. That's what the class that guy paid for.
Love Judy.
Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he paid for the class, and I just got up on stage and did that. And then I was like, after that show, I was like, okay, great, I'm ready for the club. My friend was like, who used to be a big comic. He was like, he was at the show, and he's like, it was great, blah blah. You're gonna start doing open mics, and I'm like, no, are you kidding me? Don't be ridiculous. He's like, well, coffee houses and stuff. I'm like, no. Excuse me, I'm going straight to the club. And he just started laughing, because we're all a bunch of idiots when we start, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's where it began, and then I think I took her class again like 6 months later.
Mm-hmm.
I think I actually took it in '88, and then in '89, that was when I took it the second time or something like that. And then I just started. I never stopped doing it after that.
Amazing.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Wow.
So yeah, it was great. I'm grateful for it for sure. Otherwise, I'd be in the house crying all day and then have nowhere to go at night. So then I'd have to cry all night too. That's not fun. Everything all right there? Are you all right? Hello? No, I'm just kidding. Those then. I'm fine now. I don't cry anymore. I'm fine. Done. Hello?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So did you have any mentors?
Oh, well, you know what? I always talk about John Mulrooney. Do you know John?
I don't know him personally, but I know who he is.
You know he is?
Yeah.
So when I first started John Mulrooney, I was actually taking an acting class, and John joined the school, and he needed somebody to do privates with. He had he was traveling with stand-up. And so I knew him from watching him as a comic, and then he came to the school, and then I got to do privates with him, and I was so infatuated with him. And, but I just thought and I still think he's one of the funniest guys I've ever seen. And he's actually the guy who brought Mitzi Shore up to see me in the belly room one night without telling me. She just, he went down, got her. She came, she saw me and laughing, and then she said, she invited me to start calling in for spots, and, congratulations, and it was very exciting. So, and that's not even why I like John. It just sort of happened that way, though. But he, to me, is probably one of the funniest people I've ever seen. The reason I think he inspired me was because he was such a free spirit. Like, he was fearless. He just didn't give a shit. He was who he was. I used to be sleeping, and then he would check his watch, and then get and walk up to the comedy store. You know what I mean? Where I was like, oh my God, aren't you nervous? Like, don't you have to prep for 17,000 hours and be nervous for 40 days? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But he would just lay down, watch TV, turn it off, get up, walk over, and then kill.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Oh, I have a friend in the Bay Area. Oh my God!
Yeah.
One night we did a show at the Improv in San Jose, and oh my God, she went on before me, and we were just having a conversation backstage. Then her name is called. She goes out there and she makes the place fucking roll from the first words that come out of her mouth, and she's fucking doing it for the next 12 minutes, and I couldn't believe it. And then she comes off stage completely just flustered and fucking sweaty, and then she's talking to me like she was, before she went on, and I was like, oh my fucking God, she is electric. And I'm kind of turned on at the same time.
And what? And what at the same time?
And I'm kind of turned on at the same time.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's cool, huh?
Yeah. Oh my God. I followed her, and I did pretty good. I didn't kill on the level she did, but I did pretty good. And she was very impressed. She hadn't seen me in a while. She's like, wow, God, you're getting better,
Yeah, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
Yeah, I think my other highlight of my early in the career was we used to do those open mics over at the Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
And we'd sit out on the park, on the street, on the sidewalk for 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then we finally get to go in at 9, and then all filthy and, wind, whatever, just
Yeah.
rancid. And then we get to go inside and then try to entertain people, clean people. It was just really ridiculous. Um, but I always loved it. And getting up on the stage. And one night, Dom Irera walked up to me and said, he goes, you're really funny, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, and I literally skipped I skipped out of the place and down the street. Dom Irera said I was funny. Dom Irera said I was funny. I was with my friend, and we were just like laughing our asses off. But like that kind of stuff, it's sort of it's a really big deal, and
Yeah.
it keeps you going. And they probably don't even remember saying it or thinking it.
Yeah. You want them to remember you.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I had no mentors. I still don't. I mean, I've had comedians that liked what I did. Mostly
Yeah.
the older comedians in the Bay Area where I'm from love me, but the ones my age group fucking hate me. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How come?
because I have Asperger's syndrome and I happen to be a good comedy writer.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
they're all bullies, and a lot of them are not even real comics. They're what we call satellite comics. They hang out with the real comics,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they try to make a couple extra bucks in their pocket to support their drug habit or their illegitimate children. You know.
Right. Yeah. It's it's a tough, I don't want to say the queer line tough business, but it's
Mhm.
more like I think comedy, especially those first. I mean, I've been doing it 28 years, maybe
Mhm.
20, almost 29 years. I know it's scary, but and I think early on, I think what we're really good at
Mhm.
is taking each other down. Like once it starts getting like real, like once you're competing for spots, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
I think we start to get act like dicks,
Yeah.
and you have to tear people down to justify this or justify why they got that and why you didn't, and it's
Yeah.
kind of a drag. And because I think that when we step back and we really look at it, we are a really unique bunch of people, and meaning unique and from others, but with each other, we're all the same.
Mhm.
And I just kind of think the longer you do it, the more you realize how difficult stand up really is, and how difficult it is to be successful and to keep doing it, and keep being inspired and keep being positive. And I think then you start to realize that it's so important that we support each other, and there's no room and no reason to be a dick to anybody, really. I mean, anybody, even if you don't like their stand-up,
Yeah.
because no matter what, they're still doing something that's really difficult that very few people can relate to, but you're one of them that can. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, these guys are just fucking irrational because these are guys who are featuring on the weekends at the Improv for guys like Bobby Lee and
Yeah.
Gabriel Iglesias, and I'm fucking just an open micer, and they're just fucking feeling threatened by me. And it's just what's wrong with this picture, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter what. It doesn't even matter, does it? I mean,
No.
it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's not. It's irrelevant. So, but yeah, I mean, that's why we all have to just keep doing our thing, keep taking care of you, and kind of you know, not worry about what anybody else is doing or not doing,
Yeah.
because otherwise, it's you know, it's not fun anymore.
Yep. That's true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I get it. But is it helpful? No. So there you are. So,
so what year did you get to the Comedy Store?
I became a regular. I started working there, like up in the Valley Room, right away. So probably 1989, I started to do shows on the weekend, like Saturday night shows in the Valley Room, and then, or maybe it was 90, but not right there. And then I became a regular in '94.
Wow. So it
So
took you
yeah, a
about
long
four
time
or
ago.
5 years?
And
Yeah.
yeah, old bird special. Mhm.
Wow. And this was like right towards the end of the crazy Kinnison era there.
Exactly. Actually, yeah. I remember walking past the original room one night, early days, and seeing this giant image on stage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it was, and this is like such a weird recollection, but and then I realized later that was Sam on stage.
Yeah.
You know, because I would think I was going up to do the Belly Room show,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of just walked past it, and I saw this giant, you know, image on stage, and I realized like later that night that was Sam Kinison on stage, and I didn't really know shit about him either, though. You know, you just hear people's names. That's all I knew. So yeah, but yeah, it was. So I was really at the tail end of that, definitely.
Yeah, oh my God, all the crazy dark stories I've heard from the Comedy Store podcast or Mark Maron's show. Oh my God, all the stories I've heard. And that was at the time that there was all these guys that were left over from like the late '70s era, like Charles Fleischer and Vic Dunlop and Rick Wright, who I've had on the show.
Yeah, those guys were all doing the Comedy Store when I was working there. So like those guys were all still doing the shows in the main room mostly. You know, some of our spots, but yeah, those guys were there.
And the Todd.
The Todd. Oh my God, of course, the Todd. Yeah, Todd was there. I forgot about him. Wow.
I saw him in this movie that was made in the early '90s. It was this really bad, like late night erotica movie. And there's a scene where they go to a comedy club, and he's on stage as the MC, and he's doing these weird illusions with his hands up there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Was he a magician as well?
He was. They said well, from what I've been told, he was an illusionist, and I think that's what he was doing.
Okay, because I don't remember him doing anything. I've never seen him do that. I don't even remember his comedy, but I remember seeing him there at the club, at the Comedy Store all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But of course, I was practically totally unconscious, so, you know, somebody could have been having sex on my head, and I'd still be just like, you know, duh.
Yeah.
Not knowing
I've heard those stories. Oh my God. And who are the younger comics in your age group there?
The younger, well, Vicky Barbalack, like the girls were like Vicky Barbalack, Marilyn Martinez, Sean Filofsky, Kelly Kirsten, May May, God, who else? I should know more. Oh my God, please kill me. Shea Matosh, like those were the most of the gals that were there at the time, and not that many of us. So yeah, so that's where we were working, and so I was from like '94 to 2000. I was working there like 5 nights a week or somewhere like that, and then I went to New York and I performed there for 5 years, and Mitzi didn't want me to go. And I didn't even know Mitzi gave a shit about me because we're comics, right? So we don't think anybody gives a shit about us. So, but she kept saying, you know, don't go, you know. And I was just like, you know, and I was just like this person that always just kind of like I never had a real reason for doing what I did. I just always just would do shit. I was like, okay, this is a feeling I have. I'm going. I would just have these little epiphanies and I would just do it. And so I moved to New York, which was great for me, actually. And then I performed out there for 5 years and did the road and stuff, and that was really great. And then I came back to the store in 2005 and really was only there till 2008 because those were the Tommy days. And so it was pretty gross. It was a gross time at the club.
Really dark and dead.
Dark, very dark and mean. Yeah, and it just brought out all the, you know, the sicknesses that everybody was walking around with, and Tommy was just, you know, sort of like, he was like the Comedy Store's Trump, you know?
Yeah. I've
so, yeah.
Yeah, I know all those stories, and like on the Comedy Store podcast, Rick Ingram is always like doing his voice. Oh well, you weren't on TV last night. Oh well, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he's said some really sickening things to me and to people I about. And, whether it had to do with gender, your race, your whether you were funny or not, your age. He was just hateful and so worthless to the community,
Yeah.
But there it was. So anyway, I wasn't stopped performing there in 2008, I think, somewhere around there, and then I ended up moving, so
Wow.
it kind of all worked out. But,
Did you ever see the Bushman there?
the Bushman.
He was that
Familiar.
He was that crazy open micer who won Star Search in 1990.
What does he look like?
Well, he was an African black man who wore African clothing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, I haven't seen him in years. Yeah.
Yeah, but I heard he was there. I was like laughing my ass off. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, listen, many people get into comedy,
Mm-hmm.
and but I always say everybody, you never know why somebody's doing it, because usually, thank God, I would say thank God for stand-up, though, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I think it saved a lot of lives. I really do.
It does.
It does. Mostly the comics, but the audiences as well, but definitely the comics. Yeah. I was going to go into like 7 weirdo people that I know are doing stand-up, but let's not even go there.
I know some of them.
Well, no, I meant like John Wayne Bobbitt. He was doing stand-up for a while.
Really?
The whole penis thing. Yeah, he was doing the rooms I was doing. We were doing this open mic back in, they called Pedersen's, which was really, like, to this day, the best open mic ever. It was packed. Everybody went there, and it was really funny comics. And yeah, Vance Sanders used to host it. I don't know if you know Vance, but it was killer. Anyway, but John Wayne Bobbitt would come in there, and he would started doing stand-up after that whole penis thing, the old clipping bit, and that was weird. And then who was oh my God, I'm not going to be able to think of. Forget me. It'll just come to me later. Just interesting characters doing it. But keep moving. Anyway, what else you got?
And Eleanor was waitressing.
Eleanor was waitressing. And Freddie Soto was. I've dated some comics. Put it that way. Did you know Freddie Soto?
No, this is long before my time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Eleanor was waitressing. Freddie Soto was, there. Brian Holtzman. I used to date Brian. I used to date Freddie, and I were engaged for a bit. We exchanged 99-cent rings, and we were going to get married. And my mother told a friend of mine in Chicago. He was like, "Oh, how is Cynthia?" "Oh, I don't know. She's going to Mexico to marry some Mexican. I don't know. She's nuts." And that was. But of course, Freddie, yes, Mexican, but his family was from El Paso, and I wasn't going to go live there. But anyway, somebody's nuts in the story. But anyway.
Yeah, I've been trying to. I've been trying to get Eleanor on the show for like a year now, and I hope.
She's royalty. You gotta, just forget about it. You're gonna have to drop that desire.
Yeah. I just hope she didn't think I was one of those guys that only wanted to talk to her because of Dice,
Oh, I don't think that's how her brain works. She's awesome. Yeah. I've known Eleanor. I think she was there the whole time. So yeah, I used to have this, I used to tell her it would be really fun if we did this, while she was waitressing and I was on stage, and then we ended up getting into an argument, while she had a tray in her hand.
Yeah.
And then we did some kind of a wrestling thing.
Mm-hmm.
That just came out of nowhere, and it would just be all planned. We never did it, but I still think it would be fun. I wouldn't do it today, though. She's not waitressing anymore. It's just that the gag is over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to do it. I I take that back. I do not want to do it anymore. So.
One of my favorite comedians of all time was there during that time. Steve Pearl.
Yeah.
Love Steve. He's a funny guy.
He's a character. Good guy.
Yeah.
Good guy. Yeah. all those pins all the time and
Yeah.
his taser.
Yeah.
Talk about, being in character all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite stories.
Yeah, what's that?
One of my favorite stories about him. This one time, Mark Maron asked him if he wanted to come up to the Crest Hill house to do blow with him and Kinnison, and
what a gift. Yeah.
It's Steve said, "I don't want to hear another story about how Sam invented paper and the printing press and gravity."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was somebody who still had his brain on while that shit was going down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
I've been to the Comedy Store 3 times, and the first time was very surreal. Let me tell you. Me and my friend, we parked in the parking lot, and as we were coming up that ramp, I got a shudder down my back because I know that's where Steve Lubekin landed. You know,
Who was?
the guy who jumped off of the Hyatt during the strike.
Oh.
Steve Lubekin. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the shudder down my back because I knew that's where he landed. And then we go inside for the open mic, and I felt this sense of supernatural surrealism in the room.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know, I didn't see a ghost per se, but I could have swore I saw smoky debris coming from the red neon lights inside the OR. Yeah. And
yeah, there's some really amazing stories, ghost stories. First of all, I felt the ghost there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all the time, which was another, and I think those Tommy years, I felt like there was a lot of anger in the energy in the air, and they ended up, clearing it, whatever you call that, deghosting it, I don't know, but anyway, they did do that, and there's a lot of stories about ghosts there. Have you heard them? Because I can share a couple with you. I don't know if you want them, but.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've heard about Blake Clark being chased by a ghost and stuff.
I didn't know that one. Yeah.
Yeah, like when he was like first a doorman there, he was cleaning up the main room late, and like a ghost like walked through him, and then he turned around and saw him, and then he ran down Sunset, and then he turned around and the ghost was like standing up against a parking meter smiling at him or something.
Oh my God.
And so he had to call Jim Varney to come help him lock up.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Of all saviors, hilarious. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a wild story. Jeff Scott, the piano player there.
Yeah.
He's been there for decades, and he told me a story one time that blew my mind. That I just love, though. He said one night he was locked up, because I guess they said the ghosts come out when doors are locked, right?
Mm-hmm.
When all the doors are closed.
Yeah.
And, which is probably why that happened to Blake. And so there was nobody left. The doors were locked. Jeff had just locked the last back door. And he hears a piano playing. He's like, oh shit, somebody's still in the main room playing the piano.
Right.
And they were playing really well, and he was like, Jesus, somebody's really good, So he goes in there, and he can't see anybody, so he walks around behind the piano, and there's nobody there, but the keys are moving.
Wow.
And then he looks up on the stage. This is in the main room, and he looks up on the stage, and he sees people like above the stage, and they're doing like 1930s like ballroom dancing. They're doing ballroom dancing. I don't know what year, 20s, something like that.
Yeah.
Ballroom dancing above the stage. And he saw all this by himself. Piano playing, the music, and the people dancing like in a circle around the stage. And he was just, obviously that is just like mind-blowing if you were ever to witness something like that. Another comic, I don't know if I should even tell the story, but a comic was he was shoved upstairs in the belly room, going shoved from, I think either from inside from the hallway going from the belly room into the green room, and his head hit it was like shoved by nobody. There was nobody around him. He was literally shoved and his head hit the low ceiling, and he ended up breaking his neck.
Wow.
There was nobody near him, and he was in the hospital for a long time. A really lovely guy, too.
Wow.
It was a really, so it's like some serious shit has gone down. I mean, that Blake story, though, that kind of blows my mind. But anyway, yeah, so the Comedy Store, there was lots of energies in there. And, it's an interesting place.
Oh, yes. I had, do you know who Lori Jacobson is?
I don't think so.
She was a waitress there from 81 to 82, and she became a gossip novelist later, talking about Hollywood scandals. I had her on the show, and oh God, she told me some great stories about the Comedy Store when she was there. It was like the Studio 54 of Hollywood when she was there. There was there was coke everywhere, and there was just a lot of, oh my God, lots of human pain and degradation going on there.
Yeah. I'm glad I wasn't around then. I had enough of my own problems.
Yeah.
I don't think that would have helped me at all. No, I never got involved in all the coke scene at this Comedy Store. Thank God,
Yeah.
Man, yeah.
So many people didn't pull out of that well. And
yeah.
She saw Mick Jagger with an entourage come in her first night there, and she almost got fired because she was so starstruck. She fucked up a lot.
That's funny. Yeah, those were the days. All right. Yeah. Where are you? Are you in Reading? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Reading.
Right. Yeah, Reading. And what's the comedy scene like up there?
Non-existent. The closest to the closest to a comedy scene is Sacramento, and I haven't had a chance to be down there. My only stage time really is my podcast at the moment, and every once in a while I go down to the Bay and I do open mics over there, but it's only like a couple times since I've moved out here last spring.
Have you thought of like starting your own little show over there?
I have thought of it. There's all this shit that's in the air. I might go back to the Bay. I'm definitely trying to move to LA. Definitely.
Yeah. Great.
And all the shit's in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I go out there, I go out there a couple times a year for horror conventions and stuff. And when I'm out there, I just feel like I belong out there, I feel so comfortable.
Yeah, we're all here, man. We're all a bunch of whack jobs. It's important that we,
Yeah.
So because small towns are harder for people like us,
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to be amongst people who are bumping up against other types of people,
Mm-hmm.
and staying open and growing and learning, I think it's important for comic in particular, or any type of entertainer or artist, personally.
I agree.
Good for you.
Yeah.
You're a people person. You need to be around people, more people, don't you think?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I go to the pool.
Critical.
I go to the pool and hot tub here in my apartment complex.
Yes, that's social.
Oh my God, fucking nobody there is a comedy fan, and they're all fucking millennials, and it's like, what the fuck do you laugh at? I mean, what's wrong with today's generation?
Yeah, you got to get out of there.
Yeah.
It's all good, but you might need something different.
I do.
Yeah.
I was reading that you had a role in Tanner 88.
I was, yes, yeah.
What was that like?
Well, it was kind of funny because I was. This is pre-stand-up days. I had just moved to Los Angeles from Chicago with. Well, it doesn't matter who I moved there with. It was awful. But I was waitressing at Ed DeBevick's, this 50s diner, and one of the waitresses there was like, "Oh, I'm doing extra work." On this, it was Martha, the lesbian waitress. She was our head waitress. And she was like, I'm doing extra work on this show. You should come and do it. And I was just like, okay. And so I went. And then they were like, went through us. And I was bodybuilding that's why I moved there with a bodybuilder, a steroid addict, coke addict, abusive boyfriend. I guess that's where he does come into the story. And so I was bodybuilding at the time. And so, but of course, I never even knew what I looked like and never looked in the mirror. You just hate yourself, so why bother, right? So I was like, they were like looking at all of us, and they were like at all of us extras, and they wanted one of us to wear a bathing suit and be in a scene, with the lead. And so they picked me, and they gave me an orange bathing suit. I remember, and I remember being shocked, like, you want me to be in a bathing suit, But and so then and so I got to do this scene. And of course, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was a pretty big actor at the time. He was in a lot of Woody Allen movies. And,
Michael Murphy.
The lead, the guy that played Tanner, running for president.
Michael Murphy.
Michael Murphy, thank you.
Yeah.
And so, and it was really funny, actually. But the whole crew, everybody, there was like 100 people watching me. We were at the Beverly Hills Hotel or something like that, on Wilshire, whichever one that is, and at the swimming pool. And they kept doing the scene, and I was doing it really funny. I was like drawing myself off, like making shit. Anyway, I was getting tons of laughs, and I was so glad because otherwise I was just a waitress who was being beaten at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like a good day for me. You know what I mean? So they kept reshooting the scene, and I just kept making it funnier and funnier, and it was like, So Robert Altman directed that.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool. Yeah. To work with him. Yeah.
That's big. I mean, in the world of acting, being in a movie directed by Robert Altman is like shooting heroin with Miles Davis.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah,
that was cool. It was really cool, and you can feel his spirit. Like he's such a free spirit, and he really did give the actors a lot of like rein, or rope or to hang themselves. No, but just like room to explore and be creative and find stuff themselves. And I thought that was really cool to experience.
Yeah. Well, there's a legendary actress. I won't say her name. She's a friend of mine. She's been on the show 3 times. She dated Robert Altman during a time that she was in a movie of his, and she said she loved him. She wished she would have married him, but she didn't because he was such a cokehead.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess there was a time where everybody was doing that drug. I'm assuming he stopped after a while.
Yeah.
Hoping.
Yeah, this was the early '70s that they worked together.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Did you ever get on the Tonight Show?
No, I never even tried. It's funny about me is I feel like I never, I'm not like a one-liner comic. I'm do characters. I act shit out. I talk about some social issues from time to time, and I swear a lot. And I think that that is because a lot of my comedy comes from emotion. Things that really fire me up.
Yeah.
And so I think that I wasn't like an obvious, or I'm not an obvious person for it. But I think obviously at this point, I'd love to do some bigger shows. I've done Comics Unleashed, which was whatever, and I did BET, which was really fun, and Def Comedy Jam, and then I did. I got to do what's his name show, Colin Quinn's show. You know that one?
Yeah.
I think of it.
Comedy Central one, right?
Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
So, and it was a great show. And that I love that experience as well. But I haven't really done my actual stand-up since Def Comedy Jam on as a comic. So that's sort of like Cynthia's coming back and trying to, because I was living in London for 4 years, and before that I was in Chicago for almost 2 years.
Wow.
So I've been back in LA now a year and a half. Started working at the store again in April. I didn't showcase again until March, So sort of like that, I had to re-showcase because there's all new management, everything.
Yeah.
All new, bookers, that thing. But it's been really interesting, It's good. All good.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. What's that?
That's amazing. That's
something. Yeah, it's amazing I'm alive. No, don't be ridiculous. Hello. What?
There's a childhood friend of my brother's who's a rap musician. He for the last couple of years, he occasionally does these like comedy rap shows in the Belly Room.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, his name's Chris LeVar.
yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard about that. Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of fun stuff there. Yeah, there's a lot of fun shows there. I'm going to do Adam Barnhart's show on Sunday night. That show's been running for a long time up in the Belly Room. And then I'm doing the OR on Sunday as well. But, the original room. But that's the big excitement at the store this weekend for me.
Nice. Last time I was there was last September, and I went to go
Yeah.
see a show in the OR on a Saturday night, and
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, Leslie Jones showed up, and she just
Yeah.
fucking destroyed. I'll tell you.
Yeah. When was it? What month was that?
Last September.
Yeah, because I remember that, and they told me she was there. I wasn't there that night, but I used to do the Belly Room with Leslie,
Mm-hmm.
and she always was hilarious. She is hilarious, and again, that's another person that did inspire me as well in terms of just like not giving a fuck. She's a total badass.
Yeah.
Total badass. Yeah, I really liked her. Really like her.
And then one of my favorites towards the end of the night was Jimmy Schubert.
Yeah, Jimmy's just gotten funnier if you ask me. He's always been really hilarious.
Yeah.
But he now works at the Comedy Magic Club. He got his, I don't know what they give you, but you get a card and and now he's, because he does magic as well. And so he's now working at the Comedy Magic Club, which I think is a big deal for a magician.
Yeah, I want to go there to see Jay Leno and Jimmy Brogan when they do their Sunday night shows.
What am I thinking of? Comedy Magic Club. Of course, I'm such an idiot. I'm thinking of the Magic Castle.
Oh, Magic Castle.
Such an idiot. Yes, I'm only half alive. Forgive me. Yeah, no, the Comedy Magic Club. Yeah, all the old guys are over there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Much that club. Yeah, but no, I'm talking about Jimmy Schubert. He's at the Magic Castle now as a magician. He got his card recently, and so he's been working there, which is really cool. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In addition to everywhere else. Yeah.
Are there any male comics you want to out as creeps?
Oh, geez. There's no need, is there? Really?
I mean, it's it's that time when you can.
Well, it's funny. I think what women or abuse survivors of sorts, people are victims, whether you're male or female, what we're really good at is protecting the abuser, you know? And I think that's why women, we're not talking out, because we're protecting. We don't want to, we're still that. And it's also, so I think but for me, I feel like I don't want to continue the energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's certainly, and there is one in particular, but I also don't care, meaning, I feel like all of us are in situations or circumstances because we all have a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lesson for everybody, even if you're the person that had to be the victim in the scenario.
Yeah.
And sometimes things will just keep happening to you until you address that issue for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And why you're drawing these types of people in. And it's not because you're a bad person. It's just because there's something that needs to be healed,
Mm-hmm.
Not anything you originally caused. But it's all of our jobs to always address whatever pain we have or things that happen to us. And we can't just keep going through life and think it's just going to go away. It doesn't go away. Shit does not go away. We have to deal with it, feel it, get a new perspective on it, and then we won't draw it into our lives anymore. So I always look at these people, whether they're assholes, sickos, or whatever, as gifts. So, so the asshole, the sicko, the abuser, in my adult life is a gift. The original one, not a gift. Not a gift. But again, something that we, you just have to still deal with, and for yourself.
Wow.
So there you are. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
What's your favorite joke of all time?
My favorite what?
Your favorite joke of all time.
Well, I'll tell you what my favorite joke is, and this is going to be totally ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was living in New York, I used to go to this bar, and the White Horse Tavern.
Yeah.
And it was on the Lower West Side in the Village, the West Village. And I used to, I'd go to my 9-to-5 job at a publishing company where I didn't know how to type. I just didn't know how to do anything, but I had a job there. I had no right. I was worthless. I didn't even know where the date went on a note, and I had to keep writing letters, taking dictation.
Mm-hmm.
Hysterical. Anyway, I gave all my work to the other woman in the office, Phyllis. Anyway, to do. I didn't do anything. This is a true story. I was there for over a year. Anyway, moving forward, we go straight from there to the gym and bulk up and and just eat chips for food because I was broke, and then I would go to the bar. And every 5 days a week at least, if not 7, probably 7, I would go to this bar. And I remember sitting at the end of this bar with this, and I like to smoke cigars and drink beer with old men. That was like fun for me,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, this one old guy said to me, we were sitting there, it was like late on a Friday, the sun was just going down, and he said to me, he looks at me, he's like, all right, he's like, what goes in a honeymoon salad? And I go, I don't know. What goes in a honeymoon salad? He goes, lettuce alone without any dressing. Which to me, because of the experience,
mm-hmm.
and this guy, that's my favorite joke. It's a clean joke, it's a funny joke, and I fucking love the guy who told it to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's that. So there you are. See?
Wow. 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 Eating chips because you're broke. Did your blood pressure climb because of that?
No, I mean I don't even know. I was the heaviest I'd ever been. I was like 172 pounds. But I was big. I was like bulky. I was strong, super strong, and I didn't eat any. I just ate anything that was free, mm-hmm. and drank beer. That was my diet. Oh, actually at night, because I had friends that worked in the restaurants and stuff. So if they got a free meal, they'd give it to me.
Yeah.
At the bars, and then I also drank Kahlua and cream and Bailey's because, or Bailey's and coffee or something, just to whatever, anything that would fill me up. Mm-hmm. That was my meals. Yeah, I was living the high life, man. I've been doing that my whole life. I've always been really. I'm killing it.
My favorite joke of all time, the one Eddie Murphy told on Delirious about the bear and the rabbit. Have you ever heard that one?
No, what is it?
Yeah, there's a couple 13-year-olds in the front row, and he tells them this joke. He said, here's a joke that you can tell your friends at school. A bear and a rabbit are taking a shit in the woods. The bear says to the rabbit, excuse me, sir, do you have a problem with shit sticking to your fur? The rabbit says no, so the bear wiped his ass with the rabbit.
That's funny, and that is awful. That is mean, that poor damn rabbit.
Yeah, he didn't see that one coming, did he?
No, he didn't.
He probably died from the stink.
What's that?
He probably died from the stink.
Oh my God. That's awful. So, yes. So there you are. What else?
So, I know you mentioned you have some gigs coming up. You want to repeat them, so whoever's listening will go.
Sure. So tonight I've got 2 shows. I'm doing like a rehab, not a rehab, a sober show. I'm not sober, but the audience will be. I'm going to go there drunk, just to remind them of how ugly it really is, and to just never want to do it again. I'm kidding. But I'm going to do that show with Adam Barnhart in West Hollywood. But if any sober people want to go, I think I forget the name of the place. It's at Plummer Park. And then I'm doing a show that I'm co-producing with this guy, Adam Grotman. Do you know him?
No.
So we're just doing these brewery shows. So if you ever come to town, let me know, and I'll put you up on our brewery shows. We've got like 5 breweries right now.
Nice.
That we're doing.
5 breweries?
Yeah, breweries. Yeah.
Wow.
So like, there's a bunch of breweries like that have just been springing up all over the place. And they're in these ones are in Glendale and Burbank. Tonight it's at Henson Brewery. We've been having a band there, but I don't know if they're going to be there tonight. But in general, it's really fun. So Henson Brewery in Burbank, and then tomorrow night I'm doing the Belly Room at 8 o'clock show, and then I'm doing the Original Room. I've got a 12:45 a.m. spot. So if anybody stays up late, going to the Comedy Store late at night is an experience. It's fun.
Yeah.
So that's that for this, for this weekend. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. We had a comedy showcase at a brewery in my hometown, and fucking the motherfucker, I'll say his name because I fucking hate him. His name is Phil Griffiths, and he's a fucking dick, and he wouldn't book me. He wouldn't even write me back. And I remember not too long after he wouldn't book me, I saw him MC for, God, who did I see him MC for? I think I saw him MC for Wendy Liebman, or she came to town, and I was just like, God, I fucking hate this guy. He is not funny, and he fucking won't book me. Motherfucker,
Yeah. Yeah, and what happened? But wait, what is the story, though? I'm missing something.
Oh, that's not the point. I just kept thinking to myself, I hate this motherfucker. I wish he would get off stage.
That's the point of the story.
Yeah.
You're so funny.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We're going to always have people like that in this business that do not call us back. I was just talking to another friend of mine who's just dealing with that, and I just feel like these people trigger the shit out of us, don't they? They're like, go fuck yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're triggering something in you. It's like, because I teach acting, so I'm going to share this with you.
Mm-hmm.
We have to address the feeling, like, what's the feeling? What is the feeling that this person's bringing up, and get in touch with that shit, because we're going to have loads of fucking people who are going to disappoint us, who are going to piss us off. We're going to, because they don't do what they don't book us, they don't call us back, they don't email us back. And how do we keep moving forward? You just, address it, and that's because they're bringing up a feeling, a familiar feeling, right? So it's like, just get in touch with the feeling, and I'm telling you, it's like, the next thing you know, that shit it stops happening, or you at least you're not just triggered by it anymore. It's like no big deal, and you can move forward. I'm just sharing with you. It's super boring stuff, but it's actually it's fucking life-saving for people like us, in this business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I mean, I've been doing this 12 years now, and I've been very disappointed a lot of the time, but I keep doing it because I love what I do, and I don't give a fuck what they think.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to anybody when people don't call them back, when people are disrespectful in that way, because it feels disrespectful, right? It feels like, you don't know me, and then it makes us, kind of feel badly about ourselves. So that's why we have to keep, taking care of ourselves so that these people don't have that kind of power. You know what I mean? Right.
And something, too? Well, they're starting to do this now when they teach acting and when they teach film. But they should do this in comedy, too. They need to teach people the business side of comedy as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the tough thing about comedy is that we don't really, the business aspect is it's shaky, It's, the thing about the entertainment business in general, if you want to be a physician, you go to medical school, and then you go, for another 4 years, and then you get your diploma, and then you have somebody write you a reference, and then you start working as a doctor somewhere, Yeah. And there's a process to it all. Same thing with being an attorney or, whatever it is. There's processes to most businesses, but the entertainment business, there's no process. And so it's almost like, and you also have to work in order to then, while you're trying to make it. So it's a balancing act, and it's kind of, it's a really, yeah, so I guess what it is, and everybody has a different way of doing it, but I guess we have to, like you said, you have to know that business part, and so spending like 2 hours a day on your business at minimum, right? Mm-hmm. In addition to having to do all the other stuff. As long as, I guess, it's about consistency, and it's about taking care of yourself, and it's about setting aside time to really do that, putting the work, putting the energy into the thing that you really want to do. And eventually, things start to show up, you know? Mm-hmm. And the more you do something, the more comfortable you get, the easier it gets, the more effortless it gets, and then you challenge yourself again, you know? And you put yourself into the next higher realm. I mean, that's like the best, that's all I can, because I don't have all the answers, you know?
Yeah.
Because everybody has a different way of doing it based on their upbringing, right?
Right.
Some people are like, fuck, you know, my parents were poor, I'm never going to be like that, and they run their fast as they can, you know?
Yeah.
And they find the person with the biggest bank, you know, and they make it happen for themselves, in so many words, you know? And other people are like, I'm going to be an artist, and I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to deal and feel, and it's going to be gradual, and it's going to be slow, but I'm going to do it. There's like all these, you know, and I guess it's whatever is right for you, but definitely time and energy and taking care of yourself is all a big part of it. You know what I mean? Because the confidence is what gets us. If we can work on our confidence, then you feel, and also taking actions even while you still have no confidence, taking action anyway, making the phone calls even though it's difficult, asking for what you need even though it's difficult, loving yourself, queer word, so important though. That's, you know, doing that, it's all beneficial to getting your needs met, you know, whatever they are. Does that sound worthwhile?
Well said, Cynthia. I mean, you may not have the answers, but you do have the answers. You really do.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks, Tommy. Yeah.
Well, Cynthia, I thank you so much for taking the time today. You're a lot of fun, and you're a funny lady, and you're a credit to the Jewish people, I have to say.
Hilarious. That's the first time anybody said that to me, so thank you for that.
Well, if they didn't say that, then they can go fuck themselves, because I truly mean it. I truly do it, and you're welcome, Cynthia.
Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you, and thank you for having me.
Yes.
And I do hope you do come to town, to LA, and do let me know, okay?
I sure will let you know.
Good. Good. All right. Take care of yourself. I say run a show out there. That's what I say for you. Yep. Run a show out there. Have fun with it. Play your character as a host. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
think that'd be killer.
I'm gonna do my best. I promise you.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you so much, Cynthia.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day.
Even though I don't know you, I love you, and thank you.
You're lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Take it easy. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. Cynthia Levin. Ain't she a sweetheart? Thank you so much, Cynthia. I just love talking to smart and intelligent ladies about certain subjects. I'm very lucky. That's one of the great perks of doing this show. I get to interview such smart people, and I'm very grateful to that. So thank you so much, Cynthia. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.